Hey, and we are live. And you know what, Tony? It's been that long, I forgot the intro. Oh, dear. That's bad, isn't it? Do you want me to play the intro if I can find it? Woohoo! We are on. Welcome, everybody. It's been 3 weeks out or probably 4 weeks out, Tony, I reckon. And we are back. I'm back from my big ride in South Australia. Have you got sound, Tony? I can't hear you. He's muted. We can't have Tony muted. Good morning, everyone. Oh, here he is. Yes. Woohoo! Love it.
I can hear you. Yeah. Oh, you've got Shelby. Shelby's going, what's up? Start of the show is here. Yes, Shelby, you are. Jen's on board. Jeanette's on board. Good to see you. It's been about a month since we've been off. Tonia Reeves, I've got to say, your epic adventure looked epic. It looks great. It looks fantastic. You and your horse you traveled the countryside. Tell us about it. It looked really, really amazing.
Oh, it was incredible. A great way to see South Australia. And I would recommend, Tony, because it's a rail trail for bike riders as well. It is an incredible trail where you go through a lot of the country towns. You end up coming out through the Barossa Valley. So, you can stop at the wineries on the way the last few days. The countryside is phenomenal. Like, it's just, I highly recommend. I'd love to actually go back and just do one leg, do one section of it even. It was really cool. It was some really cool riding, and the country towns are amazing. They embraced us really well. Pack Saddling Australia, who I, do it through, are amazing. They organise everything. So they do our dinners. They organise everything that we need. So pretty much we ride the horse, and then they ferry us back to our float, and then we drive the float and camp the night, and then so 14 days. It was amazing.
Nice. It looked amazing, and it sounds amazing as well. Shelby's got a great question here. Do you have to be 0.5 on the horse? No, you don't have to be, but your horse has to be. That's the problem, Shelby, with horses. They get on it the night before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's get into the stables," and they just
not gonna have a bar of that.
So the ride is fine. That's all right. Hey, what's been going on in everybody's world, though? Let's have a look. It's been such a long time. It feels like, it's been ages since we've chatted, and you must be coming off the high of going for the ride. What were some of the highlights of the ride, though?
Achieving it was really amazing. It was actually quite emotional getting to the end. That really surprised me, because I was like, wow, and I think actually taking a moment to really look at the accomplishment and go, there's so many variables when there's animals involved that, whether you're going to make it, whether you have, all it takes is for an injury or something, and then you're out. So that was, really incredible. But all the animals that we came across, and the areas in South Australia, like we went through this pine plantation, and there just after that on the ground was all of these veins of pure quartz crystal. And I mean, chunks, like I was like, God, I wish I could fit those in my saddlebag. Big chunks of crystal, like just naturally forming in the ground. And the history and the old buildings there, you come across so many old, whether it's ruins, or we stayed one night in a little town, a little place called Rockley, where there was the old school that was from the 1800s. So the history was incredible, and the terrain was incredible. It was really varying, whether it was the odd pine plantation to back roads to paddocks, people's properties. You just had so many variations that really made it exciting. And the way that Pack Saddling design it, you ride 2 days and then you have one off. So it's a really great way to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think that's why we all pulled up really well, both horses and ourselves. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. And the horse, how'd your horse go? Because that sounds like, let's be honest.
He was really great. Well, I worked out he's an excellent snake detector, because we had a couple of spots that we went through where on the trail it's not used a lot. They're just really starting to promote it now. And we had sort of warmer days, and luckily, being intuitive, I was like, nah. Not that you had to be psychic to work out it's a hot day and there's long grass, you got to watch out for snakes. But my horse was on high alert, and he was actually the 2 times we came across him, he was aware of the snake before we were, and he just stood there, and then off, the snake sort of went in front of us, and we were able to, not come into the path of the snake. So we did that a couple of times. There was creeks that we went through, and it was really incredible. And I think it was the second last day, I was like, I'm going to see a koala. I was really obsessed, and the girls are like, they probably don't even live, they're probably not in these trees, or they were just having a bit of a joke. And sure enough, where we stayed that night, there's a bloody massive koala just above the tree.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool.
That is very cool. You got to see koala bear, which is quite nice.
I know, you don't much.
You don't look, guys. If you guys got any questions for Tonia on a wonderful journey, just saying, you got Nick on board, Jen's on board, Lenny's on board as well.
Hey, Lenny.
No, it's great, and Jeanette's on board as well, as we said. So feel free to throw in a question. Go, hey, what was this like? What was that like? And it was nice. So you had the day off. So you rode 2 days, and then you had 1 day in between. So what did you do on your day off?
We explored the area. So I think one day we spent at Mount Pleasant, which is a little country town. They had a market on there, so we went and had a look at the market. And another time we went to Harndorf, and checked it out. Had a good look around there. Had a massage. That was awesome.
Okay, I bet you that was well deserved too.
Yeah, so we did some really great, supporting the local towns, and it was really great to meet different people. Harndorf, there's a lovely lady that owns a gem store there, and so I got chatting to her, and she was a wealth of information, a really Indigenous background, so she was able to share, just some of the history of the places and what's going on in their world, which is really pretty cool. So there was so many great moments. There really was.
Oh, nice. That's really nice to hear. It's a nice way to see Australia and actually connect with it, which is quite nice. Hey, we've got some people from overseas. We've got Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl from the UK.
Hey, Cheryl.
Kat here from Canada as well. So fantastic. Welcome on board. Let's see what we've got.
Ooh, I love it. Ontario. Canada's up there. I want to be over there. That's my next. Scott was like, "You're coming back to the UK," and I said, "Well, I think I need Canada first."
Yeah.
Canada, the US is next. We've done the UK last year. This year feels like last year.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah, it does. I got to meet Lenny at the Sydney MBS. Hey, Lenny. Lenny's another talented medium, and it was great. And I actually shared this week, it was Spirit really came strong that I need to collect, get those that are like-minded together and do a Zoom and just do a, let's, reshuffle ready for next year, because there's so many people, and I know myself even, there's been a lot of resetting around work and what next year's going to look like. And this year's been so transformational and for some people, not so much in the best way that they'd probably ideally plan, but we're certainly seeing some shifts and changes, and I think it's great to gather as a group of like-minded to go. We're able to all connect and help reset and get a clear vision of what's happening next year.
Yeah, it's nice. Do you guys feel the same out there? Like, is there, I'll be interested. I'm going to go back onto the words that you say, there's been a lot of shifting and changing and whatnot. And some of it hasn't been too pleasant, but some of it's been great. I'd be really interested to see how your year went this year. We're in November. I know it's crazy. And it doesn't matter where we are on the planet, whether in the UK or if we're in Canada or if we're in America or Europe, it just doesn't matter. We're at that time of the year where it's like we're all racing towards the finish line, which is called Christmas. And regardless of your religion, we all go there because it's just what the world does. It just races in there. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's just what we do. We get towards the end of the year. I'd be quite interested. I mean, we feel like we're caught up in that race as well. So to have something as refreshing as what you're saying, Tonia, where you're going, let's have a look and analyze what happened this year and let's set it up for next year. So I'd be really, really interested to see what you guys have been through. Monica's got some really, really good news here. that she puts out to you, Tonia. She goes, "Hey, Tonia, I've met somebody and I want more with them. Never felt like this before about another human being. Totally don't know what to do to keep the flow." Good on you, Monica. Congratulations. That sounds really cool. Yeah, this can be our first. That's a really good positive change. It's
That is,
somebody
I
new in
love
your
it.
life.
I'm loving
Let's
that,
go.
Monica.
Look, and look, I can see you all salivating at the moment, wanting to give Monica some relationship advice. So let's go. It's an open forum, but we do it with love and we do it with honor. Let's have a look. So I think the question is how does she keep the flow going? Tonia, you're really good with relationships. A lot of us are on this one, but yeah.
Look, I think, Monica, you've got to be in allowance for things to unravel as they need. And as hard as that is, when you're in the love bubble, you just want to hang there and you really become very much, it's like an addictive energy when you're in love with somebody. It's like, wow, you have that spark and then and everything looks different and feels different. So it's certainly not an easy one to navigate. But I think that sitting in your own power and really being in allowance of what comes along rather than trying to, feel like you need to lean in too much.
Yeah, that's the hard bit. Actually, I had this conversation, Monica, with somebody else recently in a similar situation, and it was like, how do you still be the cool person in the relationship but still act as if you're really keen? I think all of us can relate to this. It's not an easy thing to do. Do you know what I'd say, Monica, is don't ditch your hobbies or your sporting activities or whatever your normal routine is. Make sure this person fits in with your routine, or do a bit of a compromise. Do you know what I mean? Because if you give away, let's say if you give up a hobby because you want to spend more time with them, which is a natural thing to do, it's sort of like then you're putting too much energy into that. You need your energy to go into other funnels or other disperse your energy into other avenues, I suppose. So that it's a hard one to do too. And just be open and upfront and see how it goes. You're either, look, I think really, if you really like each other and you're really well connected, it's going to take a lot to break that connection up. You got to really, really, both of you have to do something absolutely stupid. But I think there's also, if you really like somebody, you'll accept them for their quirkiness, their nervousness, their bit over the top behavior. Like you sort of get it. Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one, Monica. Look, if anybody's got any words of wisdom, we're happy for you though. I think it's great.
I do too. That's really exciting. And I think, and sometimes, it's, especially when it's new, different. That's what I love about what Monica shared there, because it's new. And she's also put a lot in common. Something swirled together. He's a busy man too. It's the coming together and I'm just keen. And that's cool. And I think like it's about looking at history, Monica, sometimes when it is something different, look at what hasn't worked for you in the past and take that as okay, what do I need to do here that's going to be a change to maybe, other connections you've had before. Not that you've had that feeling, which is pretty powerful, but I think sometimes we've got to go to our history and go, what would we change if we look back on the way that we've done things? And keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Let's have a look. I'm going to come back to Kate later on, or Kat, sorry, I should say. But Jen's got one. She goes, Jen, it's like you sound like Zsa Zsa Gabor, my now hubby, because I've had so many of them. My now hubby.
I love it.
Darlings, my now hubby. And I didn't exchange phone numbers for a month. Jen, and you live in Tassie. Goodness gracious. Did one of you not have a phone? Did you? Like, that's a lot. Jen, that's really saying something. I respect this and laugh at the same time, but I respect it more than anything. Shared a house with his brother so he could easily find out what was going on. I used my intuition to know when he was going to show up. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Jen, I'm interested. Was this a conscious decision that you made not to exchange numbers for each other? Oh, yes, enlighten me on that one, because I'm really intrigued on that one. That's quite...
Oh, no, she was living in Ireland. There you go. So Jen's popped in here. No, I was living in Ireland. Wow. But I think that's a good one, Jen, because it's taking your time with things. I think we, especially now, we're a bit wired to be a bit impatient with things. And I know I am. And, you can get a
Tonia
little bit like,
Reeves.
oh, let's grab it and run with
Bite
it.
your tongue, Tonia Reeves. You impatient. Shelby, I need you. Where your mother thinks she's impatient, honestly. I don't know. I thought you were pretty in tune with yourself, Tonia, but you impatient. Sorry, should I stop now?
No, milk it. Milk it.
Go on. No. But yeah, being impatient. Let's talk about that. And look, Sean's come on board.
Yeah.
How do I get my Sean? How do I get my intuition to work at the casino? Any help with that? Okay, you know what? Do this at the casino. I don't gamble whatsoever. Use your intuition, gut feeling. Am I going to walk out a winner or a loser? Now, once you get a gut feeling on whether you're going to make some money or you're going to lose some money, then accept either which one and go and gamble as much as you want because it doesn't matter.
I love it, Sean. You always entertain us. He always comes up with the crackers.
Yep.
Love.
Absolutely. So yeah, look, it's a tough one. I'm really happy for you, Monica. It's just go with the flow. How do you? I think the other thing too is because you're trying to work out as well how much do I share, right? Because you don't want to overshare with somebody, but then you don't want to undershare because if you undershare, it seems like you don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's where's this thing? And I think just let it flow. Just see what happens. Which is a hard one. But you know what? Think of it long term and don't think of it short term because every time, as you said, people are so quick to make decisions these days, and they're so quick to enter a relationship, but they're equally as quick to leave a relationship as well. That's the other thing. So I think give it just some time and see how you go. Sound like a relationships expert now.
You do. Well, you had a lot of experience with this. I was going to say, you've had a lot of experience. She's known him for 2 years. He came across me at the market and I popped in and we went for a walk up a hill. And at the end, he said he had just started seeing someone. We just connected sporadically. And then most recently, we decided to connect properly, like 2 days ago. We didn't have a chat of what it is, which is why I'm trying to work out what to do next. I know a lot of his story. He told me when we first met. So you kind of know the history of him, which is great. I love the look on your face, Tony.
I'm reading. Do you know, Tonia, when you try to read between the lines? I'm trying to read between the lines here.
Yeah.
Right, like Monica, when you say we connected sporadically, and most recently we decided to go connect properly like 2 days ago. I'm just, and we didn't have the chat of what it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. See where it goes. Very early days. Let's see how we go. Back to Sean. History says no, but that's history, Sean. Good point. Let's go with intuition. Let's go with what's your gut saying. Now, back in history, when you lost, and it was your intuition, no, don't do this, Sean, this is silly, but you still did it, then that would be a good reflection of your gambling patterns there. But things change, Sean. Are we in retrograde? Are we not? Where is Pluto lined up with Uranus? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not that much in tune with that one. I just think, you know what, Sean, have a set limit, whatever it may be. Let's just go round figures, $100. Be willing to lose 100 or make 1,000, whatever you want. That's what we can do. Because you've already made your mind up that you're going to go gamble. I'm not going to diminish that and say, oh, Sean, what are you doing? That's a terrible idea. Because it's not my money. I don't care what you do with your money, but at least do it guilt-free is what I'm thinking. That would be the best way to do it. That's what you can do.
Now, Mel's put in a good one here. Mel's take on this is another aspect.
Hello, Mel. Mel's always good
is
like this.
yeah, Mel's got some great intuition here. I put it all on the table. What I am, take it or leave it, cut through the bullshit, get on with it. It saves both parties the time and the guesswork.
Whoa, Mel, you've come in like Muhammad Ali. I don't know. I don't know if you can put it. It's like, okay, Mel, it's like this. I get what you're saying. Like, be transparent, be honest. I totally agree with that. But Tonia, this is where I think of like when you meet somebody new, it's like inviting them over for dinner, and you don't give them the whole buffet because they can't eat the whole buffet.
Yeah.
You start them off with an entree. Go, oh, do you like that? Okay, that's cool. And then you might go to, if there was a meal, is there a meal between entree and the mains? Because there should be.
Yeah, there should be.
Like another entree.
A sharing plate.
A sharing plate. There you go. And then I think I think what you do it is in little steps, because don't forget, Mel, I do agree with what you're saying. Some people aren't ready for too much. If it's too much information, it'll freak them out and they'll back away. But if you drip feed them little bits and pieces and still be transparent, like you're saying, I think that could work. I mean, like, what was it? My guides just told me not to say anything else. So, Sean, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. That stuff.
This is where the term "a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down."
Absolutely.
And I think, this probably is a great point. Now, everyone's giving, different variations of advice and offering up different things to consider, Monica, but it's probably a really important thing that you sit down and work out where you sit with this, and really start to go, okay, if I connect to my intuition, what feels right about now? Let's, and sort of honor who you are with this process.
I don't know, Tonia, that sounds pretty weak, that answer. It's just too
I just think sometimes it's like,
it's just
you've got to, you can't be all in. Like, I love what Mel's version is, but you've got to be a Mel to do that. You've got to be like, you know what, I'm owning this, and no pretense.
Look, it worked for a neighbor of mine. I remember she was really, her thing was that she wanted a relationship, but more than a relationship, she wanted to have a family. And we sat down and had this conversation, and I just said to her, oh, look, I basically took the Mel approach. And you know what, Mel? You'll like this. And Mel, you can even write this later on, like, I told you so. But she met a guy that wanted the same thing, and they're together now. Do you know what I mean? She just laid it all on the table and said, this is what I want. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, look, I don't know. Jen says here, coming back, I like what Jen, you know what? This is the one that I like. It was just knowing and a trust that was unspoken. When just know, and you don't know how, you just do. You just, there's this, and this is, see, now, Tonia, this is going back to what you're saying, which is correct. And then you honor yourself and all that. But yeah, Jen, there's a funny thing about just knowing is there's a comfort in when you hang out with somebody, and it doesn't have to be too pre-planned or forced or anything. And there's a trust there that, Jen, you should be taking this seat, Jen. I should be on your side in Tassie typing away, and you should be here is what I'm saying.
I love it. But, and I think that's great. I just think that there's some really great advice here. And Monica's put here, but forward scares people. Yeah, I'm trying to dive into it and just trust and see. My heart is full. My gut is happy. So, coming from a place of honoring the process rather than trying to jump in head first can be, if that sits better with you, Monica, then I would go with that.
Actually, Sean should answer this. He's talking about gambling, going to relationships to gamble. Where would you hedge your bets on this one? Sean, what would you do?
And Jeanette's popped in there. Being upfront eliminates miscommunication, 100%.
Yep. It does, but what part are you being upfront about? That's the whole thing.
That's true. You know, is it that I want a relationship and, you know, are you
I
going
want kids. I want to get married. I want to.
Yeah.
It's all sit in silence for a little while and think about it, ladies and gentlemen,
That's
before
right.
we
Yes.
start typing.
I love it. Here's Sean's popped back in.
Of course he has.
Sean, I make all my decisions by committee. I run it by me, myself, and I. And if we all come to the same conclusion, we go for it. I love it. I love it, Sean. Love, love, love. Oh, we've got so many, and we've still got to get back to Dear Cat too, by the way.
Yeah, and Lenny's got a good question as well. Lenny, I've seen that one really quickly, and he has done plenty of inner healing on myself. Being a bloke who survived and moving from being fiddled with as a youngster, that's not a good one. Now looking for that special soul to spend the rest of my life with. Any pointers? I think things will come out for us. Thanks for sharing that, Lenny. That's quite a very personal thing, and you definitely are in a space that's safe, and we respect that. Let's go back to Kat. I'm just scrolling down. Are you going to read it out, Tonia? Have you already got it?
Well, I reckon Lenny wanted some pointers on finding. Lenny's sort of on point with what we're chatting about, so we might.
Okay, let's go, Lenny.
We'll come back, Kat. We haven't forgotten you. Looking for that special soul to spend the rest of my life with. I love your energy, Lenny. I think, you know, I met Lenny in Sydney. Lovely, lovely guy. Really very comfortable in your own skin is what I picked up on. So you can really see that inner workers work. You've done really well with it, Lenny, because, you know, it definitely shows in your demeanour, and he was really lovely to chat to, just somebody that I felt really comfortable having a chat to, very open and honest, and I really like that. So I think, Lenny, it's about mixing in circles where you've got those that are like-minded and, you know, having the connections and putting it out there, because I think you'd be an amazing partner for somebody. And
that doesn't help. That doesn't help him out though. Lenny's going, yeah, I know all that. I need a soul partner. He's going, great, Tonia. That's great. Can I just have that in a resume? No, it is. It's a very nice way of, like, Lenny, I've never met you, but I'm pretty sure Tonia is very accurate with her description of people that she meets. So that's, I don't know, mate. Look, being a bloke, I'd say it to you this way, Lenny. There's a couple of different ways. I normally find when I'm not looking for a relationship that I trip over one and I get into a meaningful one. It's really weird. I mean, when I met Orla, I definitely wasn't looking for a relationship whatsoever. I was doing a lot of, like yourself, Lenny, a lot of healing, a lot of, I went through a rough time, most probably 3-4 years prior to that, I had to really work through and do a lot of work on myself and did that. And I got into a groove, I suppose, Lenny, where I was just being me. I felt comfortable in my own skin, and then I met my now wife Orla, and we just got along really, really well. And even when we did, it's back to, and this is why, Jen, I can really strongly resonate with what Jen said about, you just know sometimes, and there's this calmness about the whole thing, and there's this level of trust that you can't quite describe, but it's there. It's a nice, comforting sort of level of trust. Look, to be honest, if I didn't know I want one of those characteristics in a partner until I found it, but I think if I wrote it out, I don't think it would have materialized in that way. I just had to be me for a while and then do what I do, and that was pretty much it. I don't know if that helps you out there. Yeah, Jen's going to put it out there, manifest it. She goes, I wrote a letter to the universe and put it in what I wanted in a partner, and I didn't want. And I asked my brother in the spirit world for some help as a way of, good idea, Jen. I haven't thought of that. Lenny, get in touch with somebody that's passed away. That's because if you could you imagine that, Jen, like a dating app where you get in touch with, yeah, that's brilliant. For some help out of the loop. A couple of weeks later, I met my husband now, Tony, good name that. 17 and a half years later, and we're still going strong. Yeah, look, that's another. What do you reckon about that, Tonia? I haven't heard of something like that, but I'm open to it.
Love it. I love it because it is about intention. And sometimes when you actually have to sit and, like, whether it's writing a letter or doing whatever, you consciously, sifting through what traits you want in a partner. And so it does tend to be a bit clear to the universe that, hey, that's kind of what I'm open to being delivered. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jen's put
Lenny,
here, I recall saying to you a few years ago that someone was waiting in the wings for you, Tony. There you go. Jen was all over it.
see, that's what I'm
Love
saying. Jen should be in this seat, not me. Okay. Jen, you're right. And do you know what, Jen? I just laughed it off. I just laughed. And look at me now, happy as married. And if I would have, if I am disappointed with me sometimes, Jen. I really am. But Lenny, let's get some feedback from you, Lenny. We've had there's been some pointers out there. Has it been helping at all, or are we taking you down a path where it's not really helping? And do throw in your two bits. Like, Tonia, what was it like with you and Andrew when you first met? What was the
Well, we actually, we started connection with friends, and so that's where sometimes I think not rushing in, like really getting to know someone. I mean, it's great, Monica, his background, so it's not like a total stranger. You've really got that down pat. But I think allowing it to unfold how it needs is really important. I do feel that, because you'll often start off with, oh my God, you have all those concerns, and sometimes taking your time with that allows them to unravel those answers that you might be looking for.
Yeah.
So, and it's everyone's different too. So it's following those traits. But I think you need to get to know somebody really well. And we tend to sometimes not do that. And that's where the failures are, because we'll jump in and then work out, a month in, oh, not quite what I intended. So rather than taking our time.
Yeah, do you reckon it's that people go into a relationship, whether it's conscious or unconscious, is that they've got expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you got to get rid of that, because nothing's perfect, and I think that's what and it's not about being treated badly, because I don't mean that, but sometimes getting to know somebody and like you say, Tony, working out that you accept, you want to accept people as they are, and by you accepting them allows them to hold space to accept you as well. So what we offer up is a reflection. So it's also remembering that and saying, you know what, there's no such thing as perfect. None of us are perfect, but let's roll with what we have.
Yeah, I like that. And Natasha's got a good one. Tash, she goes, when I met my partner, we met a number of times and we spoke each and every day. 18 months later, we're still strong and haven't had one fight or argument. I don't know, Tash, that's coming. But that is that is a nice way of having it. It's just getting out there and I suppose just getting to know the courtship. The courtship period is quite nice when you just get to know somebody, and that's what you're saying there, Tash. That's pretty cool. Monica goes, I'm not concerned. I just don't know what to do next. Do you know what, Monica? It's one of those things. I reckon just ask him out on a date. You're putting it out there.
Got nothing to lose. If Monica comes out next week and it's failing, you're in trouble to me.
Yeah, but look, no, you can, but that's one thing. If it's that sensitive, then you go, oh well, it wasn't going to last anyhow. Because if that's it, just go, oh well, go out there,
that's right.
throw your hat in the ring, and then just see what happens from there.
There we go. To be continued. Monica. Lenny, I love Lenny's here too. Talking about his PTSD was pretty rough, and he's had plenty of signs from his dad in spirit that he's asking for forgiveness. And a car bearing the rego RA6113 has been outside my house lately. His name was Roger Albert, and he passed away on the 16th, 2013. Wow. See, Lenny, I would be saying, Dad, you know what? I'm going to offer up forgiveness, but you can send somebody nice now.
Oh, okay, I like that, Tonia. This is Lenny. If you don't know, this is Tonia Reeves. One of her specialties is signs. No, it
Yeah, I
is.
love signs. I do. To me, everything is a sign, and the fact that Dad, you having that connection with Dad from the spirit world, it's like Dad's there to help. And if he's asking for forgiveness, I would be milking that and going, "Hey, Dad, I'll offer up forgiveness, but you can also then send me somebody really nice."
Yeah.
And they love to help us, they really do. And it's so common that when they pass, especially when things have been rough, and they have, you've got that sense of them coming back to ask for forgiveness. There's a lot wrapped up in that, but to be able to offer that up to him, Lenny, that's really, really big. Especially, you're saying Dad was a perpetrator, so this is your father, who somebody that should have looked out for you that didn't, and that's really, really massive. And to me, he can start to put the do a bit of the footwork up there by bringing somebody nice in for you, and you're deserving of that. So to me, I think that's but it's certainly a big thing, and you're really amazing that you can share so openly, Lenny, about it. And just by doing that, you're helping so many others as well as yourself. And we really want to say thank you for that, because that's really big, and you deserve to meet somebody really cool.
I'd say, Lenny, I'd honestly say it'd be worth booking in a session with Tonia, because there's some really important things that you bring up and some things that are coming through. To connect with your dad, and get some clarity around. I think that would be quite healing for you, to be honest. I know you've done a lot of work on it already, but if you haven't had a reading with Tonia, I encourage you to do it. I've seen Tonia do some amazing people with people that, even in our clinic, amazingly, that a child that had an issue with a parent, and they reconnected. And it's a very similar story to yours, Lenny, and the healing through that was amazing. Not to bring up names or anything, but Tonia, you most probably remember the person.
Yes.
And you've done this many times before. So yeah, it's actually, it's quite healing. Jen, this is Jen's dating advice. I like it. Go for a coffee, Monica. Neutral place, no pressure. Dinner and lunch can be awkward, but lunch tends to be cheaper.
I love it.
I just want Jen to write a dating book or a romance novel of some sort. I met Fabio. He was an amazing man. We went out for lunch because it was cheaper. He knew I liked a budget. He looked into my eyes and then looked into my purse and he went, "Wow." Have a friend who only does lunch as dinners. It is more expensive and they don't bribe. Not too many dollars wasted. Haha. I was hilarious, shocked. Not much shocks you. That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Auntie Anne, my Auntie Anne's on. And
Hello.
Mel, hey Mel, hey, how's it going? And how it went the other night, probably dinner and drinks. All right, so Monica's already tested the waters there, so just
Testing
do
the
it, Monica.
waters.
Yeah, then we
Yeah.
need to know by next week.
No, not really, because now we're putting expectations on her. So pushing our expectations on her is going to push it onto him, and then he's going to go, "What the hell?" It feels like you've got a whole army behind you. Too much pressure. He'll freak out. Blah blah blah. Monica, do it in your own time. If you can do it within 2 weeks, that'd be great. But in your own time, no pressure whatsoever. We played Battleship. It's a good way to get to know somebody. Now, I do want to go back to Kat. We did promise that we were going to go back, and I'd just like to go there for a minute. Kat, if you're still on board, just say hi or something like that. But she says, I'm in a crappy spot right now. Was living with my ex. He ended up homeless, which meant so did I. So now, almost December, living in a tent, freezing something. You guys have got winter coming in. By chance, do you see any improvements coming with our living situation or relationship. Thank you for your time and energy. That's a hard one, Kat. But what I do really like is your vulnerability and your openness to actually ask for help, and that's a loving place to do. One of the things in that sense where you're looking for guided advice there, that would be something that you'd have to do one-on-one. It's more of a personal thing. So I'd say book in with Tonia online or something like that. All as we're going to do, Kat, right now, to be honest with you, is give you our two bits. And we don't want to mislead you in any way. We don't want to lead you down a garden path, but we are here for you as a community to support you in a really difficult time that you find yourself in at the moment. So that would be,
reach out, reach
yeah.
out. % happy to help, because it's, it's hard. And again, just sharing your story, will resonate with many others that are probably, that are in a similar situation. And it's something that we're not all privy to if we're not, if it isn't shared. So thank you for sharing. But
Yep.
I can't imagine, especially it would be freezing in a tent. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty hard thing, breakup of a relationship and everything like that. Look, if I was going to give you my 2 cents, I don't know, because it's Canada, right, that Cat's in. I don't know the system over there. I know how it works here in Australia, where we can get sheltered, especially, whether you're a male or female, but I know there are women's shelters as well that you can go to, and they'll offer you housing and everything like that. But once again, that's in Australia, so it'd be very hard to not knowing Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, good advice there, Tony.
Mm.
Mel's also sharing she's been through the big love of her 20s died last year, so the 1-year anniversary of death is hard. Dreaming of talking to him, remembering fine details from our past and how we were, his home, where I stayed a lot. And this is often what happens when it comes to anniversaries or specific times and dates. It's very common. So, Mel, you're not on your own there, Mel, with those feelings and things coming up. And it's almost like it's part of your healing process as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Always is hard. You're going to get a lot of that this time of year, aren't you? Especially Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
Like Tonia, do you get busy around now, or is it normally after Christmas when they've realised what's happened?
Usually for me, like, it's busy up until about middle of December. And then,
Yep.
Everyone's focused on Christmas, and it's usually from the middle of December to the middle of January, it's quiet time.
Yep.
So, that's just people getting into Christmas and, kids on school holidays and all the rest of it as well. So it is a quieter time, sort of that time of a reset. And I think a lot of people are doing that as well.
Yeah, which is fair enough. It does. Just makes me think. So you do have a lot of people that are missing loved ones at the moment, especially if it's a 1-year anniversary as well, though. That always hurts. That's because it's still fresh, I suppose, is the way to say it.
And it's a hard time of year when you're missing, loved ones. Christmas is always a hard time.
Yeah. I've got to ask Monica, though. They played Battleship the other day. Who won? Because there's this thing, right? If you first started seeing somebody and you played a game like Battleship, would you lose on purpose, or would you try to kick their butt?
Oh, I'd try and kick their butt for sure.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what other people would say. Do you let them win, or do you try to kick their butt? I'm a little bit similar to you, Tonia Reeves. I will do my
go hard
best.
or go home.
Yep. Do you know one of the best things? This is one of the things where I think I'm married now. One of the best things that when I first started dating Orla, which is brilliant, she broke up with her boyfriend, and all his family's big on giving vouchers for certain things like dinners or events or whatever. So she still had a few vouchers left over from when her and her ex-partner were together, which I inherited, which is the best relationship to walk into. Now, one of the things that one of our first dates was the axe throwing that they have. Have you ever been to the axe throwing where you go in? They're around Sydney, so you go in there, you get a whole lot of axes, and they got the boards, and they got the bullseye on there, and you throw your axe, and that's pretty much it. And I went in, and all I had, so it was myself and all that, and we joined another group of people, and you were competing against everybody, but secretly you're competing against Orla as well, and she went out there. Now Orla's problem is that she's like an Olympic sprinter in a marathon, and that's not a good strategy to have because she sprints the first 100 meters and she's still got 40 kilometers to run. So she does very, very well for the first couple of throws. I'm going, oh, geez, this person's pretty impressive. I'm trying to get my head around on how to throw an axe. Let's be honest. Like, you'd like to think from a Hungarian roots that I'd have some sort of like barbaric sort of thing. And I thought, geez, this must be. What I found out was I was a city kid that never picked up an axe. So I went in there and I worked out the lay of the land. Not only did I kick her butt badly, like I actually won out of about 10 of us. I actually came first out of everybody. So I was the champ for the night. And I've got to say, secretly, I was really humble about it. But deep down inside, I was absolutely pumped because I was like, how cool am I right now? Like, if she wants to know she was dating a cool guy, that just proved it. And that's as sad as my life gets. So we're together now. Jack Murphy, Murdoch, she has the same one. She goes, man, kick their butt. Yeah, I like it. Let me put it out there.
Yes. As long as you're naturally talented at it. If you're not otherwise, you're screwed, aren't you?
Oh, see, Monica goes, I think he cheated, but he won. Well, do you know, Mom, that's just a rematch. That's what you've got there straight away. Absolutely.
Yes. There's your second date sorted. Rematch.
Yep.
And practice.
Not practice, but get a game that you're good at, like whether it's Uno, whether it's pool, whether it's whatever. Just get something that you know you're going to kick his ass in. Like if the one that I would struggle with is Scrabble because I can't spell.
Monica's got Scrabble next. I love it. I love it, Monica. Definitely.
That's good. But yeah, I like it.
Oh, at least we're being entertained, Monica, aren't we?
Yeah, I like what Jeanette's saying. Jeanette's responding to Lenny there. I like that response there.
Yeah, and Lenny is in our industry, so he's got a lot of support within the industry for himself and others. But it's also great, Lenny, to be able to hold space for those when you have that understanding of, what people have been through. So there's so much power with that, so much power. Nick's put his strategy: win one, lose one, and you'll always be asking each other out.
Oh, Nick, that's brilliant. If you could orchestrate that, that's a stroke of genius. That is good. That is very, very good. That is brilliant. It's manipulative, Nick, but I like it because it works. It works really well. Let's just be honest. Life's not always fair, but we're there to win it.
Yeah, I love it. Look, you've got to have a bit of comedy regardless, don't you?
Mm-hmm. That's a great, you know what, Monica, that's a great thing. That, I've always found this. Take them to a comedy show and see if you got a similar sense of humor.
Yes, that's a great idea.
I remember a girl told me that once. She would say that was one of her things when she went out dating, and one of the dates would be a comedy night. And she knew straight away whether or not if they'd get along with that person.
Yeah, yes. In Townsville. Surely they'd have comedy there, would they?
Let's go to the pub on a Friday night with all the tradies. Just sit back and listen.
Comedy gold. Your Shelby went and saw Carl Barron last night, so she had a ball.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, it's like she didn't take me.
Well,
love
Carl Barron's brilliant, though.
He is brilliant.
He's one of my favourite Australian comedians. Very, very talented man.
He's a very soft, beautiful human, does yoga, running, etc. Very arty. Oh, Monica, ideal for you. Perfect match.
Go for a
Perfect
yoga
match.
session.
Yeah. That's right. Do things that you enjoy together. Like if he's got a lot, you know, like he likes the yoga and running and things that you enjoy, go and do some stuff like that.
Yeah. Take him out for a run, but find out if he's a short or long distance runner and then kick his ass there, Monica. He goes, I normally only do 2 or 3 Ks a day. Take him out for a 10K run.
Or tell him it's going to be 3 Ks and then go. That's what I did. That's what I've done to Andrew because he doesn't like to walk anywhere. We went to Cradle Mountain and, you know, you got to go around the lake and I think it's 10 Ks. So I told him it was 4.
He would have hated you.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, well played. He does marathons.
Sometimes, you know, you got to sometimes milk it. Oh, he does marathons. So you're screwed.
Yeah, let's play that one. It's good. It's like, I like how we both easy. Oh no, she screwed on that one.
Oh, Monica.
Give us an update.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. No pressure. Just give us an update. Let us know how that goes. That's we'll all be watching. It could be the gift of Christmas that we've all been looking for. Is that TNT have helped orchestrate this lovely relationship. Yeah. Not that we've done anything. Let's be honest, guys. We've done absolutely nothing to make this happen.
But I'll tell you what, everyone is declaring in this feed. So we've had Lenny, Monica, everyone's declaring that they're ready and open for somebody to come in. So just doing that is a powerful manifestation.
Absolutely. I like it. Yep. It's very, very powerful.
And what's happening at the human repair shop, Tony? What are you guys up to? You're going to have some time off over Christmas?
We're flat out. We are absolutely. Thank God we've got another therapist starting in a couple of weeks' time. So that's really good. But yeah, we're in the healing game, Tonia. People need to be healed. I really want to come into being one of those. I'm thinking it'll be a lot more easier to do, like to become one of those spiritual healers. You know, where you hold your hand on top of their head and you go release the demons, and it takes 40 seconds. $120, done. Work 2 hours a day.
You got it down, Pat.
We're not about results. We're about belief. No, we've been absolutely hammered at the moment. So, but that's okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, I saw this one as well. Would you like to read this out?
Jack Murphy's put, hey, I know this is not on the same time, but just needed some advice. And this is a great one for those that are still on the feed. We'd love everyone to share with this because I think it's great to hear different perspectives. Just needed to know some advice. I know a lady who has only days left, obviously, to live. And I want to know, is it okay to ask her, is there anything I can do for her or her family when she's passed? And is that okay? This is a great question, I have to say. Thank you for asking it. To me, I would say yes. I feel if you're drawn to ask, I feel yes. And at the end of the day, if, you know, like you'll find that the response to that will be, you know, that you're giving her that option. So either way, if you're not attached to how she responds, definitely, I think so. And I think that I think anyone would appreciate that, to me. But that's my perspective. What do you think, Tony?
I think it's a lovely idea, Jack Murphy Murdoch. I think it's a beautiful thing to offer. I mean, like, but also that's I'll say this with love. You can also decline the offer too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I want you to do this for that, you know, for my family. You can say, oh, look, I'm not doing that, because you don't know what the request is. But have it where you go, absolutely. Is there anything I can do for you guys when you do pass? Absolutely. Is your hesitation, Jack Murphy Murdoch, asking her because you don't want to confront the fact that she is passing away? Is that where you're nervous? I'm just curious about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the Is it saying, "Oh, I know you've only got 2 days to live. By the way, do you want me to do anything for you when you're dead?" Is it that?
Yeah.
Is
It's a
that where
bit
the nervous energy comes from?
You know what also I find, and Jen's put this up too, but to me, to go and visit her and see what fits, like have that in mind that you'd like to ask her. And if the conversation does not steer towards that or there's not the opportunity, that is
Yeah.
usually the answer.
Yep. Good advice there, because this person might think, "Oh no, everything's grand. What's wrong with you?" It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Or and sometimes what happens too, Jack Murphy, is
Oh,
that it's it's about things being, like it might just the fact that you've thought this, she might say to you, by the way, can you do this for me? So it might actually be something that she shares with you, can you do this? And you'll be like, wow, I didn't have to ask her.
yeah, I know. And she puts in here, she goes, more the fact it's making it maybe more real for her. Look, I'll be honest with you. If she's in palliative care, or if she's in hospital, I don't think this is coming out as a surprise to her. I think she knows, and it's what you're saying, Tonia. Like, if a lot of people that I've met just before they pass away, normally say, "Yep, I know my time's up. I'm ready to go." And that's what you're saying, Tonia. Is if they bring that conversation up, then you go, "Hey, look, yeah, we all die at some point. Is there anything you'd like me to do for your family once you've passed?" And that's what Tonia's saying. Let her lead the conversation, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes we build up these things in our head and go, oh my God, how are we going to do it? And you get there and actually there isn't the opportunity, and I say there's not the opportunity or the break in the conversation, or it doesn't feel right. That's because that's not the right thing to ask. And,
Yep.
if we just trust that, it really will be presented to us as needed rather than having to worry about it. And I know it is a worry,
Yep.
And
Yep.
like Jen said, and like you said, does she know? Be interesting to see,
Now, if she's planning a holiday 6 years away from here, she's in a bit of denial.
Definitely. Definitely.
Can't wait to go to the next Olympic Games. Looking forward to that. Got my tickets already booked. I'm thinking, all right, then
That's
guess
right.
what,
No
love?
conversations coming forward. I
Ah,
love that Kathy
no.
shared here. Kathy, thanks for sharing. I wish I had those hard conversations with my husband before he passed. I regret it now. So, that these are things. And what I also find sometimes is those questions like what you're asking, Jack Murphy, are the ones sometimes they want to talk about, but it can be like no one else wants to talk about it. So, it's you're keeping it real. Hey Rachel,
Yeah,
how are you? Um,
absolutely.
yeah, Kylie's put in a Nan just passed. Oh, thinking of you, Kylie. It's so hard when Nan just passed. Follow what you feel and ask her for the signs. Like, honestly, they will give you the signs. And especially if she just passed, there'll be strong signs around what you need to do. And I feel like you're already getting them. So just don't doubt yourself, is my advice there, is don't doubt the signs, because we tend to, as humans, doubt the signs. Hey, gorgeous Rachel. Rachel's been around the world taking photos of horses, just beautiful.
Does very
Um,
amazing photography.
yeah, incredible. Hey. Jen's popped in here. Even though people know they're on limited time, sometimes they don't want to acknowledge it, especially if they are hanging on to see someone that potentially won't make it in time. Yeah, that's like definitely Jen. Definitely, and that's a quandary, isn't it? But I think Jack Murphy knows, as she said, go with the feel. I think you've got to do that. You'll know intuitively if we trust that rather than trying to overthink it, and just trust that, if that opportunity comes up to ask, you know. Um, and Kylie, you'll be getting the answers. You're just not it's a really hard thing when we go through grief, because often we miss those little signs, and they honestly do give them to you. And even though like you're getting the signs, but you're still not sure on answers, just sit with that. because the answers will come to you. And I like to encourage people, because this is about, we all have it within us to tune in and get answers. We don't need anybody else to really necessarily give us that. So I totally encourage you to sit with that and pose that question, even if you write it down. Hey, Nan, what would you like me to do with, there's certain things I'm going to keep some and not keep others, or whatever it may be, and you'll get the signs. So, yeah, we've had a pretty amazing first session back today. Wow.
First session back. It's been good. We've covered some interesting things. We've covered romance, death, beginnings of...
We've covered everything. And Kathy, you will be, you don't feel anything from a past husband. He'll be around. No, it's just stop trying to connect and allow him to come through. Sometimes in our grief, we do get a little bit stuck, and that it doesn't allow them to strongly come through as strong, or we tend to block it a little bit. So if you can just sit back and go, I know he's there, and have that conversation with him, create a dialogue. And that's for anyone on this feed who wants to connect with a loved one. Start to create the dialogue.
Have you had that before? Have you had that before, where a client comes to you and they go, hey, so-and-so's passed, but I just don't feel anything whatsoever?
All the time. All the time.
And then what happens?
Often that's when people will come and have a reading with a medium, because then the medium will say, hey, I can see this, this, and this happening, and this is what they're showing me. You're getting the signs. Here they are. And that's when the confirmation, because we as humans, we don't trust ourselves enough to listen and go, wow, that was a sign. Or we try and have this vision in our head of what we think the signs need to be, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to be an allowance. Like for me, I've got my mum in spirit. So I'll say, Mum, I'm making a decision on something. I need a sign. Can you give me, is this a yes or is it a no? And the same with your hubby, Kathy, like, okay, I need your help with something. Give me a clear sign. And then just be prepared to then let that go and continue on, but be open to looking around at things. Start to notice what's happening around you, because believe you me, there's not one spirit that doesn't give a sign. Not one.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Does not give a shit. I know you too well, Tony.
I would have said, how profound's that, really, Tonia? That's brilliant. That's pretty good. Guys, we're going to wrap that up. I'm going to say thank you so much for everybody for being so beautiful and loving and trusting and vulnerable and just, really being there for one another. It's been absolutely lovely to be in this space. Good to reconnect with you all. And Tonia, good to see you after a month. I'm glad you had an awesome time on your horse riding trip. That sounded really cool. And I suppose we do the same thing next week, don't we?
Yes, we'll be back here. We don't do readings on this feed. This is just about supporting you guys as a community. But you're welcome to reach out to me. Coming into the crazy time of year, I think for many of us it's about getting that bit of clarity, and I'm certainly here to hold space for anyone that wants to reach out. And I think my last show will be at the Seven Sisters Festival in Glenaroa, which will be at the end of this month. So
nice.
Yeah,
sounds
can't
exciting.
wait. So thank you all for joining us, and you're all amazing with all the support you've given each other here. We couldn't do this show without your input, and we really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I'm going to wrap that up, because we both have to go on to real life and doing what we need to be doing. So thank you so much. Same time, same place next week. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.